Come see us on tour in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only there.
Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show, everybody. Keaton, Weiss, and Russell Dobular here filling in for Jimmy this week. Want to catch you up on some of the recent Israel news here with a few recent headlines. This one from January 3rd. Far-right Israeli lawmakers demand complete cleansing of northern Gaza. Mask coming off. Look at this headline. Gaza didn't get enough winter shelters. Now babies are dying out in the cold. And what is the third headline? What's the development? What is the United States response? White House to approve massive weapons sale to Israel by Kyle Anzalone of the great antiwar.com. Sources speaking about the $8 billion arms deal said the Biden administration informally informed Congress. Man, he is really going down that checklist on the way out the door.
Oh, yeah.
14 more days, 2 weeks from today, is the changing of the guards. Before President Joe Biden leaves office, he will approve one more massive arms sale to Israel. The $8 billion sale of missiles and artillery shells comes as human rights groups have labeled Israel's war in Gaza as a genocide. Axios reported on Friday the State Department has notified Congress informally, quote unquote, of an $8 billion proposed arms deal with Israel that will include munitions for fighter jets and attack helicopters, as well as artillery shells. Author Barak Ravid did not define what it means to informally notify Congress of the sale, or if it fulfills the White House's requirement to notify Congress of arms deals. The massive arms sale to Tel Aviv comes after Amnesty International declared Israel's onslaught in Gaza a genocide. Amnesty International's research has found sufficient basis to conclude that Israel has committed and is continuing to commit genocide against Palestinians in the occupied Gaza Strip, the organization said in a landmark new report published today. The report, released in early December, explained the sale includes AIM-120C8 AMRAAM air-to-air missiles, Hellfire AGM-114 missiles, 155mm artillery rounds, small diameter bombs, JDAM kits, and 500-pound bombs. Many of these munitions have been used by Israel during its campaign of extermination in Gaza, including attacks on civilian targets. In June, CNN reported that Israel used U.S. small-diameter bombs in an attack on a school that killed 40 civilians. So the same weapons that they have been caught and documented using against civilian targets are apparently coming to them one more time on Biden's way out the door to the tune of $8 billion. In October, the Washington Post noted the Biden administration has received nearly 500 reports alleging Israel used U.S.-supplied weapons for attacks that caused unnecessary harm to civilians in the Gaza Strip. Think of that number. You think 500. The war is what? How many days old is this war now? Just a little over 500 days. That's one per day. That's about one instance per day.
Right.
Amnesty International is calling on the U.S. and other states that provide Israel with arms to cut off the flow of weapons to stop the genocide. States that continue to transfer arms to Israel at this time must know they are violating their obligation to prevent genocide and are at risk of becoming complicit in genocide, said Agnes Callamard, the Secretary General of the organization. You're starting to see, on a good note, so we'll get to the rest of this in a moment, you're starting to see multiple countries now threaten IDF soldiers with prosecution for war crimes if they set foot in their on their land.
Well, Netanyahu wasn't able to go to Poland.
Being advised, hey, don't travel, don't go on vacation to a country like Brazil because they can arrest you. Not because you're Jewish, not even because you're Israeli, because you're IDF, and the IDF has now been they are now wanted for war crimes by the ICC. So any state party to the Rome Statute has grounds to arrest any IDF soldier that sets foot on their state. And good on them for doing that.
Yeah, we saw that recently in Australia, where they stopped some IDF soldiers from entering. They were coming to visit their grandmother, and they wouldn't allow them in the country. They were putting them through an extensive screening process. The sick comedian I just showed in the other segment, Yohei Sponder, he got his concerts canceled in Australia. That wasn't by the government. That was by the venue. Right. And Netanyahu wasn't able to go to Poland. He wanted to go for the Auschwitz anniversary.
That's right.
They made it clear he'd be arrested if he entered the country.
Yep.
So this is phase 2. And unfortunately, I think that the best we're going to be able to get is to attempt to destroy this sick, genocidal country through economic boycott and sanction,
right?
And isolate it around the world. But saving the Palestinians, it's not looking very good.
So Max Blumenthal quote tweets this article. He says, so here's the deal. Biden soaks American taxpayers for another mega shipment of munitions to the Israeli Holocaust machine. And in exchange, they get pictures of shredded children every day in their Twitter timelines. Professor Zenke says just days after Israel's disappearance of Dr. Abu Safia, don't forget they've been raiding the last functioning hospitals in northern Gaza these past couple of weeks. The Biden-Harris administration approved another $8 billion in weapons to Israel. They could have used their leverage to demand his release, but didn't. Democrats are partners in this genocide. Don't vote for them again. You know, that's a good point. That's a good point. There was a doctor that was recently abducted. He was accused without evidence, with no evidence whatsoever. Mm-hmm. You know there's no evidence when the AP reports that there's no evidence that he was a Hamas combatant. And you would think, if they wanted to send them some money, they could say, hey, you have to let this doctor go. We need a proof of life on this guy. But nope, no such thing. No such thing.
No conditions.
No conditions. All those State Department hearings where Matthew Miller and Fat Sagar were up there saying, well, our Israeli partners are investigating X, Y, or Z instance, and we expect to hear from them soon. Well, here you are now, 14 days left until they leave, and in come the new bosses. Any follow-ups from any of these instances? We haven't even had a follow-up. We covered because Biden gave a presidential medal of freedom to Jose Andres, who's the head of the World Central Kitchen.
Yeah,
we don't even have a follow-up on that. That happened in April. There was supposed to be an investigation. We're going to get to the bottom of did they fire on the World Central Kitchen cars on purpose. They're looking into it. They'll get to the bottom of it. That was 9 months ago. Have we gotten that? No. And that's when the white Europeans got killed. The media was very upset about that. Media was very upset about that. And we don't have any answers for that. Mm-hmm. So, there will be no leveraging of anything, no asking for this in exchange for that. Nope. No strings attached ever. How many times, says ACES, has Biden bypassed Congress to send Israel weapons and money over the last year? Usama Makdisi, for the record, the U.S. has supplied Israel with $22 billion of military weapons and aid since October 7th, 2023, to enable Israel's genocide in Gaza. And $8 billion more now out the door with just a couple of weeks left. It's just unconscionable. It's just unconscionable. I mean, that's really the only word for it. And any pretense that the West has any sort of claim to morality, to decency, to lawfulness, to order, to rules has just really been trampled and spat upon by the Western leaders themselves over this past year. To think how you can be continuing this at this point is just it is unconscionable. It's the only word that comes to mind. I hate to repeat myself.
Yeah, it's like Joe Biden got his checklist from Asmodeus on the way out.
Right.
Free criminal judges that made profits from locking up children, teenagers, drove them to suicide. Yeah, no, we gotta get those guys out of jail, right?
Yeah,
we gotta make sure to send that last of that money to Israel. Everyone's talking about HB1 visas. This story kind of flew under the radar. Biden increased the number of visas by tens of thousands that would be available, including in the trucking industry where the truckers are already devastated.
Right.
So yeah, no, it's just like the evil wish list on the way out the door. He's just checking every box. That's a man who doesn't care about going to hell. He said he was Catholic. Now I don't believe him.
Yeah, and I don't even believe that anymore. Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's bullshit too. Yep. Add that to the very long list of Biden lies. Not even a real Catholic. He's not even a real Catholic. You know, he says he's a Catholic. He doesn't even care about going to hell.
If he'll be lucky if he lives out the year, and he's sending another $8 billion to Israel. He doesn't believe in hell.
He doesn't believe in hell. Come on, we know that.
Come see us on tour in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only there.